Hey adventurers, so today is going to be another tag video. This is going to be the Honest BookTubers tag. This is it's been a long time since I've done any tag videos, but there's been several that I've been tagged in recently, and then there's been this one that's been going around, and I really like this one, I like the idea of this one, and so I wanted to do it even though I haven't actually been tagged in it. And so yeah, let's get into this. I have the questions on my phone this time rather than on my computer, so I'll be looking down at my phone rather than over at my computer. I haven't really prepped any answers for these. There's a couple that I know that I have answers for already, but we're just going to talk through them as I get to them. All right, question 1. Have you ever lied about reading a book? I don't believe so. Maybe. It's possible that I have said that I haven't read a book when I have read it. That's possible. That seems more likely to me for some reason. I don't know why, than the other way around, than having said that I have read a book when I haven't. I'm not positive. I believe the answer is no. Have you ever avoided a book because of the controversy surrounding the author and or content? Not really. I can think of a couple books that I haven't read because of what's contained in them, and it's just stuff that I don't care to read about. The two big ones that I'm thinking of are Song of Ice and Fire. Besides that, I know that there's stuff in there that I don't care to read about. I actually have no desire to read the series. There's just no desire for me to read that series whatsoever, and so I'm not going to. But it has nothing to do with something that the author's done or a controversy of the author. It has a little bit to do with the content, but mostly it's just because I have no desire to read that series. The other one is Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. This one, it's a Arthurian, and so I thought I wanted to read it at first when I saw it and saw, oh, this is Mists of Avalon. This is about the Arthurian tale of some sort, and I was interested to look into it a little bit more. But as I looked into it and I started hearing a little bit about what the author thinks or thought or whatever, I decided maybe not. But that wasn't going to stop me from reading the book. That was just another thing saying, okay, yeah, I don't need to. There's nothing drawing me to this book. The thing that actually stopped me from it, though, was, again, more of the content side of things. That I've heard that it's very dark. I've heard that it's not very... I've heard some very good things about it as well, but I've also heard some things that make me say, I think this one probably not for me. And that's fine. It's due to the content, but it's more due to that I just have no desire to engage with that content of any sort. And so that's kind of where I stand with it. I'm not going to not read a book just because I believe differently than the author. Definitely not, because I know that I believe differently than probably just about every author that exists. And so it's not that what the author believes or thought isn't going to stop me from reading their book, even if they have done stuff, if I want to read the book. If I don't want to read the book, if there's something else telling me that I don't want to read the book, then I'm not going to read the book. I'm not going to read a book that I don't want to read, and if I do want to read it, something that the author may have said or did isn't going to stop me. Have you ever been sent a book for free and not disclosed that? Yes and no. Physically, no. Audiobooks, no. I have been sent several ebooks that I haven't mentioned yet. If I ever read them and review them, at that point I'll mention that I got them for free. But because they're ebooks and because I don't really read ebooks, I don't really count them in the same way. So yes, in that technically, yeah, I have been sent free ebooks, but also no, because they're not real books in that same way. I know they are, and I understand that e-reading is a massive part of the reading sphere at this point in time, and I appreciate that, but for me it doesn't work and very well, and I just don't love e-reading that much. So physical books, no. I believe I've disclosed every single book that I have been sent for free. Question 4, have you ever bought a book with no intention of reading it? I don't believe so. I believe that every book that I have bought is either one that I have already read and want a copy of to either read again or just to have, or else it is a book that I fully intend to read at some point in time. There may be some that I have gotten for free or been sent or something that I don't care if I read, but for sure every book that I have purchased is one that I have wanted to read and still do if I haven't read it yet. Question 5, have you ever gotten caught up in BookTube drama? I don't believe so. If I have, then I am not aware of it. It's quite possible that somebody dragged me into something without me knowing, and it's just continued and I just don't know about it, and that's fine. I don't really care that much. Have you ever gotten a hate comment? If so, how did you respond? I don't believe I've ever gotten a hate comment. I have gotten some strange comments. Most of the time, if I get a strange comment or something that's a little bit weird, I just don't respond. I just ignore it completely. If it's bad, if it's got stuff in it that I don't want on my associated with my channel for some reason, then I'll delete it. But I don't think I've ever had to do that. I'm just not opposed to doing it if that ever is the case. However, I have gotten some comments that they're not hate comments, they're just very forcefully disagreeing with me. And that's fine. There's one on my genre breakdown of Christian fantasy that was a pretty heated discussion, at least not on my end. I was kind of laughing at it and kind of trying to explain my viewpoint a little bit more, but the other person got a little bit more frustrated with me than I was expecting, and so eventually I just let it lie and decided not to engage with that comment anymore. But as far as actual hate comments, people disliking me or saying anything rude to me, not really. Some weird comments for sure, but very few that are actually that I would consider hate comments. Question 7, have you ever made a video just for the views? I don't believe so. I mean, obviously, if I'm making videos, I want people to view them. That's the goal. That's the idea, is that other people will watch my videos and engage with me, talk to me about the books that they're reading, talk to me about their thoughts about what I'm talking about. Of course, that's part of what BookTube and YouTube is hoping that other people will see it and it will engage with it. But in terms of doing something strictly for the views, I don't believe I have. I know that I've done videos because I thought that they would get more views, but they were always topics that I was already interested in, topics that I wanted to do. For example, by the time you're watching this, I'll have finished up my top 100 books of all time series. That's a series that I expected to get get quite a few views, and it has. It's done decently for me. Not as good as I was hoping, but it was also beyond the views that I was hoping and knew that it would get. It was also one that I just genuinely wanted to do, and so that's why I did it. If I didn't want to do it, if I had no desire to do it, I wouldn't be doing it. Question 8, would you do things differently? I don't exactly know what that's referring to. I assume maybe would I do things differently if I could restart my channel right now? And the answer is I don't know. I don't really think so. Maybe some things, but the way that I have done this channel has kind of built it to the point where now that I'm happy with what I have. I'm happy with with the community that I've built. I definitely wouldn't focus more on one thing or another, or go more hardcore into one specific area. I like the broadness of this, and this gets into question 10, so I'll move away from that one right now. The answer, I believe, is no. I don't think I would really do things differently, other than wishing that I had more experience when I started out, but I think everybody does. Question 9, are there any channels you wish yours was more like? In terms of production quality, sure, absolutely. But in terms of content, no, not really. I like the type of content that I make. I like that it's over 50% reviews, and the rest of it is just whatever I have that comes to mind. Any type of video that just pops out at me and I want to do that video. I like that it's very heavily review based, with just a little bit of the other things as I come across them, or tags or whatever. If I feel like doing a whole bunch of tags, I'll do tags. If I feel like I want to do top 100 series of all time, top 100 books of all time, then I'll do that. So it's kind of a wide variety, mostly based on, and the foundation of this channel is the reviews though. And so I do like that, and I don't want to change that, because that's sure, reviews don't get you a ton of immediate views, but they're the things that I want to be doing. I want to be talking about books, and that's such an easy way, such a direct way to talk about books. So that's my answer. No, there's not really any channels that I wish mine was like, other than in terms of production quality. I would like my production quality to be a bit higher, mostly in terms of lighting and a backdrop. I would like to have a nice bookcase backdrop that I could film in front of. And the last thing, question 10, what is something you love about your channel? I love that this has been so largely based on just the things that I'm interested in doing, the questions that I'm interested in answering, the topics that I'm interested in exploring. I've branched out so far in what I read. I mean, when I started, it was primarily fantasy, primarily Lord of the Rings, Mistborn, Redwall, and that was about it. Narnia. There was some other things that I was reading, but I've branched out and read so many more things at this point. Not just in fantasy. I've branched back into historical fiction or literary fiction to some degree, especially with my Bradbury that I've been reading and absolutely loving. Sci-fi. I've branched out into sci-fi, and which is a genre that I did not think I would ever enjoy because I didn't enjoy Star Trek, and that's what I thought all sci-fi was like. But I've gone so many different places, and I love that reflects in my channel. That's kind of the whole idea behind this channel, though. An Erudite adventure, it's the idea of going on an adventure, of going on a journey to become more studied, more well-read, more literate. And that's the whole idea of this, and that's exactly what's happening. I've read, at this point, I don't know, probably over 400 books since I started this channel, or getting close to it. And that's impressive for me. I think I think close to 400, but not quite over 400 books since I started the channel. That may not be very many for some people who read 300 books a year, but for me, that's very impressive. I'm more than happy with that. That means that I'm making progress. That means that I'm reading. That means that I'm doing things. And so, yeah, I'm absolutely happy with the reading that I've done and am doing, and what I'm doing with my channel. And so, yeah, that's what I like about my channel. I like that I can just sit and talk, and there's no topic that I can't talk about because my niche is so broad in that it can be whatever. But it's also very, very targeted in that it's books. It's the idea of progressing myself as a reader through reading. And that's really what the whole idea of this channel is, and what it's supposed to be, at least. And I hope that I'm doing an accurate job of reflecting that in the videos that I'm making, as well as in the content, the things that I'm reading, the content that I'm engaging with, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, those are my answers to the Honest BookTuber tag. I'm not going to tag anybody because, quite honestly, I didn't plan out anybody to tag, but I also wasn't tagged in this, and so I don't really feel like I need to pass on that tag. If you want to do this tag, absolutely go for it. It's got some interesting answers, a little bit different take, a little bit different view on the booktube sphere in that way, and I appreciate that. So yeah, absolutely, if you like this tag and you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Consider yourself tagged by me if you feel the need to be tagged by somebody before you do a tag. Just say that I tagged you and you're good to go. Beyond that, thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.